Raging Blast 2 was a real challenge to get down to 10, but probably not for the reason you might think. Oh sure, characters not having the same amount as supers certainly did make it harder to compare, but the real thing that made it so tricky was so many characters had at least one good move. The floor for quality was much higher than say BT3 or Sparking Zero, with every character only having two supers. This meant it was harder to stand out in Raging Blast 2. A higher floor meant the gap between the peaks and valleys of qualities were far smaller. Ultimates were a common tiebreaker here. Also, sometimes a signature as well. Still, choices were made and I got things down to 10. Without any more blabbing, let's get started.
You're gonna pay for this! Don't bother! I'll blast you to bits! Nice fireworks! I won't let you get away! That is trash!
If this is number 10, you know the rest of the list is gonna be fun. And he almost didn't even make it. There are a number of people who could have easily ended up here instead, but Genocide Breaker is just that good of a move. The fact it's something we don't have in more games is criminal. Hey, Sparking Zero, give us a Scouter Vegeta outfit with that as a move. Of course, that isn't his only good super. Dirty Fireworks is another standout. As a super, having it just be the explosion makes it snappy, while still getting the quip in. The only real thing he's missing is the attack he killed Zarbon with, but his Signer covers that, so it wasn't completely missing. And while I do like his ultimate with how he tried to kill Frieza, we need something to raise Beam ultimates up to have them feel more ultimate. So his ultimate does hold him back, but not enough to not make the list.
The Saiyans are a race of warriors! You won't make a fool out of me!
What? Impossible!
Barrier! Brace yourself! Take this! Hey, what's the matter?
Impossible!
Big Bang Attack!
Impossible!
Keep your chin. I'm surprised at my power too. Take this!
Anyone surprised that counter got him on the list? It certainly did, but it was more than that. This is a very complete Vegito. Here we can see why having multiple supers really helps a character out. While beams and ki blasts aren't the most exciting moves, mainly due to them being so very common, they are needed to establish the character's identity in many cases. Vegito having Big Bang and Kamehameha make that Goku and Vegeta connection that you want to see in a fusion, while still having the Beam Sword and Perfect Game to get him showing off and overpowering an opponent. Final Kamehameha is basically the same as Scouter Vegeta's ultimate. Yes, this is a good ultimate, but beams need that extra push, like maybe going off into space? Yeah, that might work.
How does it feel to be humiliated like that? I'll take care of you. finished! Time to end this once and for all!
Why does he never get these moves in other games? And let's talk about command supers a bit. They can be very hit and miss with how they work. Most of the time just making you ask, why wasn't this a rush? Which is very fair. However, every now and then you get one that works. This is one of those. The fact it's just one command and that command fires a beam right into someone hits a sweet spot with effectiveness and being flashy. And then we have his rush. There is always something extra brutal about charging a ki blast in someone's face, instilling the target with a sense of helplessness as Trunks has a cold-hearted look on his face right before firing that blast. It's a simple attack, but very powerful in the impact. I also want to highlight the fact he does have Masenko as an attack. It's always nice to see him given attacks to connect to Gohan. Finally, we have his ultimate, and this is basically a scaled-up version of his rush. It hits many of the same notes, only taken up to a degree because it's an ultimate. This is the sort of moveset we need more of for Trunks.
I'm going to save the future! Analysis complete! You won't win like that! Get out of there! I got you! How is this? Fighting you is a waste!
This shiny Cooler clone has a very solid array of moves. His command super would fall into the pile of all the other basically combo ones, if not for the fact it makes the target spin as part of it. There's something very fun about making your opponent spin by smacking them. That throw at the end is another good touch. Just tossing someone away like that is already disrespectful, but did you have to do it by the leg? His counter is a good one, since it's a little fight. One of those exchanges of blows that is fast and you can really tell exactly what happened. It happens all the time in Dragon Ball. What is clear is that Cooler wins this exchange and knocks them away with ki. I have always liked blasting people away with the invisible ki blast. The best one of his supers though is that lock-on blaster. This is probably the smallest ki blast in the series, being just a few sparkles and all, but it certainly makes a big explosion. And the way he just watches that explosion go off is great. His ultimate shows exactly what I mean with adding things to moves to help elevating them. Having them try to push the blast back adds that extra level to help make what would normally be just a basic blast into feeling like an actual ultimate. What's holding him back is that volley. Normally, I like this one, but with the lack of any sort of explosion, or any effect at all, really kills it. Still, it can't keep him off the list.
This is the power of the universe's strongest warrior! Useless! There's nothing you can do.
That counter. This is the best counter in the game. Standing there and taking those first two punches with those dinks as well. That is simply the best way to start a counter. Not by countering their attack, but simply showing that it was useless to try in the first place. That is already a glorious start, but the rest of it also knocks it out of the park. throwing them into the ground followed by blasting them point blank. It's basically a second ultimate, which is good because that's really all he has. Well, his signature is basically a super, if we're honest. He seems to have a thing about blasting people point blank in the face with ki, and while he does have a super that is ultimate quality, his actual ultimate is even better than that. The punching while running someone down is both unique and brutally fun. The final ki blast uses his unique blast to send the target off with a very satisfying effect. If he had just one other good super, he would be higher on this list, but 2 outstanding moves is still 2 outstanding moves.
I enjoyed that. You won't be leaving here alive. How disappointing. It looks like you've all but lost the will to fight. You won't survive! I destroy this planet!
Let's start with his downside, his ultimate. Now, it is a blast, but it does have some extra flair to help it out. Another example of how to change things up to help out basic attacks. Really though, all this really needed is for the attack to blow up the planet. Anyway, his super list is amazing. For some reason, the most iconic of all Frieza's forms always seems to get the short end of the stick when it comes to attacks. Starting off, he actually has a normal death beam. It's nice to have that as well as the barrage as options. On the topic of the other things he normally has, it's done correctly here. So glad he plays with his target by knocking them around before blowing them up. Makes the attack far better. Fisher Slash is one of those that needs to be made bigger and look more like it could cut a large gash into a planet though. His command super has a great part with the tail strangling the target, but the real star here is his Krillin killing attack, both in that it exists and also the face he makes at the end of it. This is the sort of sadistic side that needs to get shown off more in games. Hitting this move feels so good, and it's mostly because of that face. Sure, he stole dirty fireworks, but he added his own flair and psychic stuff, making it oh so much worse in the best ways.
That was fun! It's been a long time since I've had to try.
I win! I'm done with you!
Turles represents having a moveset that takes what would normally be generic moves and elevates all of them. Let's start with Calamity Blaster. First of all, nice to see him with the normal blast, but to go back to the focus, it is basically just a blast. However, from how he fires it to what it looks like, it just stands out. The way it pulses with electricity as it flies towards the target, along with the black lightning on the back of it, makes it look much better than just a purple blast. Next, his volley. The way he fires it and how the ki looks makes it such a fun volley to use. Very snappy too. It's such a good way that it's how his command super ends, which is also one of the best command supers in the game while we're on the topic. And of course, he throws out the donuts from Metroid. Take any of his supers and it feels like he did something cool no matter which one you used. Also, his ultimate is his ultimate. No matter how many times I see this in a game, it's great each time. What do you think his chances are for making the list of best Sparking Zero movesets?
In the end, you'll amount to nothing.
Counters really make for cool supers, huh? And this is the better one. I don't think at this point I really need to explain why, but I will anyway. The teleporting in via cube translocation helps it feel like it's something Janemba is doing. And then Point Blank Blast. It really is one of those moves that will always feel good to land against someone. What surprised me the most here though is Lightning Shower Rain. Oh sure, the attack itself is normal and not that exciting, but look at how sparkly it is here! Aside from getting your attention by being all shiny, it makes it look like he's throwing shards at your face for once. And look at it from the target's angle. At least you die in a hailstorm of sparkles. The visual style of the attack is way better than I would have expected, and this exactly shows how you can take what would normally be a boring move and make it something amazing. Which brings us to his ultimate. This is another one of those ultimates that's usually always good, and this is clearly one of those times. The transition into the ultimate is one of those things that can be tricky at times. This one, starting with the slash that he has clearly all set up, is ready to do, is one of the better ones. The attack starts as soon as it lands in a very flashy way. The only real downside is that pause before the final blast is a very tiny bit too long for nothing really happening during that pause. Obviously doesn't hurt him that much though. Oh, look who's back. He just can't help himself and has to show up on every list. He isn't lacking anything from other games and only had things added on, so this was pretty inevitable. Let's start with his key. The color makes it look so good. Pink and black is not only a color I thought he would have, but pink energy always looks good, be it key or lightsabers. The chaotic nature of his blast helps the same way it helps Turles. The key for his volley has a very unique look to them. I really enjoy how they gave key unique looks in this game. It really makes all attacks feel better and some of them stand out. That spear is a really fun move, partly because it's really nice to see him having it, and partly because it acts like an instant transmission and always puts you in front of the target after it hits for some reason. No part of the animation makes it where he should do that, and yet his ultimate really doesn't need any explanation at this point. We've all seen it before, and we all know we'll see it again. So let's just focus on the one thing that's different here, those slash effects. They do take a lot of screen space, but they feel awesome. You can say they block the screen or censor the slash, but I don't care. It's easy enough to know what's going on, and it looks cool as hell.
You're no match for me.
This ends here! I won't hold back!
Where are you hiding?
Kaioken! Kaioken times 2! Kaioken times 3! Yeah! Lend me your energy. Everyone, share your energy with me. Come on, I can do this! Kaioken times 3!
What?
Kamehame!
What?
Kaioken times 20! It's ready! Go!
What?
All right, ready! Yeah! You're really tough! See ya!
You know, I didn't want to reward Goku just for having 10 supers and 3 ultimates. That would just be giving him a reward for stealing so many techniques from other people over the years. The problem was, all of them are good too. You throw this much quality around and it makes it impossible to really say no to him. Of course, he goes through Kaioken multipliers when he stacks the move. It's one thing for buffs to stack, but when you get the feedback that they indeed are in a way that's easy to tell, it just makes it all the better. And on the topic of Kaiokens, he has both of the Kaioken rushes. And with this being a nebulous time period Goku, him having Meteor combination isn't weird. Having all 3 of these rushes is already a great start, but we also have choices with the Kamehamehas. You get the standard and then the Kaioken version. Man, lots of Kaioken around here. So not only do you get the flavor that you want for the beams, you also get what you want between a chargeable one or an instant fiery one. Stacking onto his moves are having 3 ultimates. First up, the Saiyan Saga Spirit Bomb. And at this point, I have to say, even if we were counting tag team attacks, he'd still be up here because he has the best tag team attack with this ultimate. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's look at this one anyway.
Krillin! Come on! Krillin, I'm giving you this! The spirit bomb I made!
Should I hold the hand like this?
Please! There it is! Got it! Don't miss! So close! Go on! Don't let it hit you!
What?
It still doesn't count, but it's still really good. The Namek one, usually this is just a big ball that explodes. Here, it feels like the one he threw at Frieza, which is certainly nice to see over a normal explosion. And finally, we have the Boo Spirit Bomb. This is the one we're all used to seeing, and the scene is done very well. But there is one thing all of these ultimates are missing. That is, they all sort of end without a big boom at the end. Okay, the first one never really had that, but the other 2 do. This is probably more needed for the Namek one, as the Boo one does have a nice ending that feels good. The Namek one could have used a zoom out to an explosion. Not that it matters, as we have 3 really good ultimates. Despite all of this, I'm happy that Goku got to flex his main character status with this monster of a moveset.